I'm going to be doing this look with my DIBS products using shade 1.5 and all of my favorites. Really, you can use any shade that you have, but 1.5 is new, and I think that this is one of the sickest shades, and so many people are gonna want it. So if you wanna see this little light spring look, let's go. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to first start with putting some clips in my hair, just to keep my little baby hairs out of my face. And not get stuck all up in my foundation moisturizer, which always happens to me. I have my little DIBS makeup bag that I am obsessed with, and then if you see me looking over this way, I have a mirror. And also bear with me because I've never done this before, so we're gonna learn this together. Let's just go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I always use this, even when I use my DIBS under foundation, or when it's just on its own. Like, I've used it so much that it is rubbing off. And then I go in with the Hourglass brush just to smooth that all over. And so you can see, like, it gives a nice little glow. And then I just put a little bit of DIBS. This is the High Road Highlight. This is my favorite. I'm just gonna add a little bit of this, and it's gonna go under my foundation to add a little bit of glow from within. So you can kind of see that my skin is starting to glow a bit. I'm going in with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk, shade 5. I'm kind of in between shades right now, and I just pump this straight onto my face, and then I try to like wipe the top off in between each uses, but you know. And then buff it in with this same brush. I really like this brush. And this kind of just puts it where I want it. And then I'm going to go in with a beauty blender. I just feel like I use less product when I first use a brush or my hands. I'm adding a little bit more to this area. So again, this isn't going to get rid of my redness. It will still shine through, and that's totally cool with me. But I just like to add a little bit more to even it out more with the rest of my skin tone. I'm going to take my damp beauty sponge. This is from Amazon. I found this through Courtney years ago, and I still use it. It's my favorite. It's like the best sponge. So yeah, I'm just going to buff it all in. So now that that is all blended in with the beauty sponge, I'm going to go in with the Tarte Shape Tape in shade Light Sand. I haven't quite gotten my right shade for this. This is a little bit more of my summer shade when I have a more golden tone to my skin. Right now I am starting to get more towards my fair side. I put it right here because if you notice, I have some hollows, and that's where the darkest point of my under eyes are. So I start right there. I let it sit for a second to really like stick to my skin in that spot, and then I will just start blending it. And I take it in my inner corner, and then I will drag it out over here. I don't do a very like super heavy under eye. Like obviously that brightened it up a lot, but I don't want it to be crazy light compared to the rest of my skin. I like it to kind of just be a tiny bit of brightness, but nothing major. And so I do drag the extra onto my eyelid. I feel like that kind of just hides a little bit of the veiny portion of my eye, and then I drag it a little bit around here. I get redness right here, and then here over my lip and kind of down here. So now I'm going in with my DIBS Duo. I'm excited about this. This is shade 1.5, and oh my gosh. So shade 3, my favorite, Ride or Die, like love that shade. And then when we went into development for this shade, I was in love. Oh my gosh. So this is the shade. Let me see if I can focus. And it looks like it's a really deep tone, but it really isn't. Like, you can get it to blend out like really well, and you can kind of control how deep of a tone you want it to be by using a brush, and I'll show you how I do it. This is going to be a perfect contour shade for so many people, and for me specifically, I'm not using it as a contour, I'm using it as my bronzer, and that's because a lot of bronzers pull very, very warm on me, and I like a very cool toned bronzer, so you'll see kind of how it warms up. But this is how it looks on my hand, and it's the most beautiful shade. I think that so many people are going to love it. So this is what I do. I have my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush, and I just put it on there, and then I have a paper towel, and I just stamp it down on the paper towel a bit like that, just to get a little bit of excess. And I know this might not make sense, it works for me, so do what works for you when applying creams. This is how I like to do it. And then I always like kind of go like that with my face, and I find it in that region it looks the best on me. Again, it's gonna change based on your face shape, but I'm just going in, and then you stipple it in. With my skincare, I wear so like thick of oils and moisturizers that I have to really stipple in my makeup, and I have to allow my skincare to, okay, look at that, like, I love this. Okay, but back to the point. I have to let my skincare really melt into my skin and kind of dry before I go into my foundation and all my makeup. And then I also have to just like stipple all products. I find that I like the control of where exactly it's going by just stippling it into my skin. So like that's super subtle, but it kind of chiseled me in. And while this is a really cool tone for my skin tone, it still warms up my face and it still brings life and dimension into my face. So as far as like my chin, I do just draw it directly on. I feel like that's like easiest, and I don't need to really focus on those points. And then I just buff it out and drag it down, really focusing on kind of the direct line of my jaw. This is mainly just to add that shadowing effect, and that is what I feel like helps in photos for me. See, it kind of just gave that shadow and makes my head stand up. If that makes sense. And I'm not a makeup artist. I've never done this kind of tutorial in my life, so this is what works for me. Take it as you will, and I hope that this works for some of you guys, or maybe you can like let me know your tips and tricks, because I'm always learning. I find that like I followed Courtney before I started working for her, actually, for such a long time, and I learned so much from her. And I also followed Jaclyn Hill on YouTube, so like that's where I've learned my stuff. So I need to blend this out a little more. I added more to here just to add. But yeah, like look, it's not like it's this in your face bronzer or contour, but when I am back here, you can see how it just like adds that, that like cut to my cheekbones. So I'm doing the same thing to go into my forehead. And I'm just adding it a little bit to my hairline. So like that's where I like it. And you can kind of adjust based on like what type of forehead you have, and kind of see how it gives that like focus here. That is what I like. So as far as like nose contour and stuff though, I'm messy with this region. I don't need a cut nose. I'm like, I haven't learned how to really do that super well. So I'm just like, there's excess on here, and I'm just dragging it here and then dragging it over my eyelid. I'll go in on my eyelid with a little bit more precision with a blending brush. And I'll show you all that later, but. And then don't feel like weird about continuing to adjust your bronzer and blush as you go. That's kind of like as a whole look comes together, you can add more. And with these, you can always layer. Like I put it on top of powder before because it was the middle of the day and I was like, ooh, I need a little like pick me up. I need a little more dew to my skin. I added this and I was just like, this is why I love these. Like, oh my gosh, literally my favorite. Like I'm not even exaggerating. And 3 has been my favorite for so long. And then once this was in development, I was just like, oh my gosh. So I think over summer, as I get a little more golden again, I'm gonna mix 1.5 and 3 and try to do like a legit contour, like a sculpting, and then bronze up. I think that's gonna be like really beautiful combo. So I'm going in with the blush. I actually use the Flawless Face brush for this. You can see it on here, just like that. And then I, again, tap the excess off like that. For me, I put it on the high points. That is this region. I really focus it there first. And you can just see like the glow, like the glow that this gives. It's like a lit from within or a dewy look almost, but it's not sticky. Like you don't actually feel like, ooh, my skin feels wet. Like no, but your skin looks like it has that dewy glow and I'm just obsessed with it. So you see how I focus it more on here. Again, that's gonna like, you can change that based on what your face shape is. For me, I want to bring a little more height up here because I feel like my face is a little more long. So I really focus it there. And then like, it's still, I have a little bit on my brush and then I'll kind of just graze it right here. Just add a little bit. Nothing major, just a little color and then pop on my nose. I always do that. And I haven't done any powder yet, so the powder will clean it up. But then I go in on my eyes with the big brush. And this is like a really user-friendly product. Like I feel like you can't really mess it up. I find that I've had so much fun getting to play with these because it's like easy and user-friendly and I feel like I can fix it if I kind of mix up a little bit of it. So now I'm just going in with this Charlotte Tilbury powder. It is in shade Fair. And I'm just going to focus that on my under eye. And then I press the excess in right here. Now I don't want too much, so I need to get a little more, dabbing the excess off and then pressing it here. I have larger pores right here and this is where I get oily. So I have very combo skin and I find that right here I get oily and that's where you can end up seeing like your pores throughout the day. So I just add a little extra powder in that region and I don't really mess with powder here. I don't feel like I need it. I like this glow and again it stays all day. Like it stays so much better than this half of my face. And then I'm going in again but using the beauty blender like this. So I just have a little here and then cut that line a little bit and then add a little bit more coverage to my little pink cheeks. Okay, so that's like the bulk of my makeup. You can honestly stop here if you just wanted to like walk out the door. I would finish my brows first though because I get foundation in my brows. So I always take a little Q-tip and I wipe off the foundation. I feel like this is such an odd thing to do. I've never seen anybody else do it. I don't know if nobody else has the same problem, but I have to wipe off the foundation from my eyebrows. Like they get gray. Maybe that's because I have microbladed eyebrows. That could be it, but yeah, I just wipe off the extra foundation, or maybe I'm messy with my foundation application. But honestly, if I wanted to be done, I would just finish up my brows and go out the door and I'd be totally cool with this look. I don't always wear mascara. I kind of go with the flow. I'll curl my lashes sometimes. I do feel like even when I don't wear mascara, curling my lashes gives a more open effect, and my eyes are a little bit downturned on the outside corner, so I do love that opening effect that using a lash curler does. So I'm just using the Anastasia Beverly Hills in dark brown and just filling in a little bit, adding a little bit of warmth, because again, with my microblading eyebrows or microbladed eyebrows, they are a little bit grayish because I haven't gotten them redone in a really long time. So I just curled my lashes off screen because nobody wants to see that. And then I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Telescopic Mascara. I'm in a mascara rut right now, and it's not any mascara's fault. It's just my lashes aren't as thick as they normally are. So I'm not finding a ton of joy in my mascara routine right now. But I normally love the Lash Idol and the Sills Booster Primer. Today I'm not going in with either of those because I don't have them right now. And I'm going for a little bit of just a lighter mascara look, just to add a little definition to my eyes. So you can see this is with a little mascara, this one has none. Just adds some oomph and definition to your eye. Okay, and then now that I'm here, I like to add a little more on the corners. So I will kind of just like pull my corners out to get them to fan out a little bit, and then add a couple more little swipes. And with this brush, it's a really like thin brush, and I feel like it allows me to separate my eyelashes a little better than some fluffier brushes. But again, the lashes today are not the focus of the look. Okay, I'm going in with this giant Got2b gel. I ordered it on Amazon and it came, and I was just like, this is bigger than my head. I'm never gonna run out, but that's okay because I use it every day. Even if I don't wear makeup, I will wear the Hollywood Flawless filter, and then I will use the DIBS Status Stick on my high points, and it just gives my skin life and this beautiful glow that when you're in the sun, it looks like you have a full face of makeup on, and I love it. Okay, so now I'm actually going to do a little bit of eyeshadow, which I don't always do, but I learned this from Courtney, from her Valentine's Day look on her page, and I did it for her Galentine's, and I was obsessed with it. So I'm just taking the 1.5 again on this eyeshadow blending brush. This is the Sonia Kashuk, and I got it at Target years and years ago, and I'm obsessed with it. I really love it. It stood the test of time, but I'm putting it directly on here, and then I'm just adding that to my eye. I have brown eyes, but I feel like this pinky look in my eye really brings out my eye color. So it's been something that when I do eyeshadow, this is what I'm doing. And of course you saw I put the bronzer in my eye. That's like one of the first tips I learned from Courtney way before I started working for her actually. So that's always the base. Like you put the concealer excess from your beauty blender or whatever over your eye, and then when you do your bronzer, you add the bronzer just to add dimension, and then I build any eye look on top of that, what is already established. So then I'm taking a Status Stick in High Road Highlight. I just want to add a little more glow. I'm just swirling it on there and then adding that to the top. And this, I'm not precise when I apply. I'm not being precise at all. I'm just applying it all over my lid, and then as I get to the corner, kind of swirling it out and bringing it back in. So that is High Road Highlight on the eyes and 1.5 on the eyes, both the bronzer and the blush sides of it. And now that is pretty good. Like that's what I'm gonna leave my face at. I'm going to set it now. So I'm gonna shake this up. Ooh, there we go. We're gonna let that start drying. And if you are having trouble with anything being cakey, I will just push while it's still damp into my skin on those areas where I put the powder earlier. I feel like that melts the powder into your skin. Okay, now it's lips, and we're gonna be done. And so again, like I said, I take a long time doing my makeup. I want to enjoy it. If I'm doing my makeup, it's a day where I'm chilling and it's like self-care time. I'm not a rushed makeup person. I will just not do makeup. I'll do the 2 steps that I told y'all earlier, and that's it. This is really like self-care. I'm enjoying my time when I'm doing my makeup. So I just wiped off the foundation because I always get foundation on my lips. And I am going in with the Line and Define from DIBS. And this is the light definer. And I'm just going to take that right here. You see how there's a little shadow there already? I just take it and I define that shadow because I want a pout on the bottom. And then I do the same on the top. I am just defining that shadow that I already have and emphasizing it. So you could use this to change your shape, but I'm just working with what I got, and then I blend it softly with my finger, and you want to do this before it dries. So that just adds a little bit more definition, and then now I'm going to go in with a liner. And I'm not going to talk while I do this because this is hard for me. Okay, so I put it here and then I kiss my lips together. And that will transfer while it's still drying down. So you want to make sure to do that before it fully dries down, because once it dries down, it's not going anywhere. Okay, so I have my liner on and now I'm going in with the clear gloss. And it is so pretty. I feel like this shade 1 in the liner really paired well with the 1.5 blush that I put in my eyes and on my cheeks. And I'm actually going to add a little bit more blush now. So this just shows that I already set my face, I already did everything, and I can still add more. And it's not gonna impact it in a negative way, which I feel like a lot of blushes, you cannot do that. I'm just adding a little more because I love blush. I love that rosy look. I'm adding a little to the bridge. Yeah, I'm just adding a little. My chest gets really red, and then right here gets really red, but my neck never does, so I'm always like, add a little blush to that just to make it all blend together. That is the finished look. So this is using DIBS, and I used shade 1.5. I used High Road Highlight. I used shade 1 in the liner and light in the definer. And that's how I got this look. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for bearing with me. This was fun. I'll see y'all later.